I'm not a nefarious miner that's trying to game the subnet. I'm coming for your emissions. Hey, this is Travis. This is the third installment of my miners vlog where I talk about my experience mining Bitcast, which is a Bittensor subnet that pays me to create videos. So you've probably heard me talk about Bitcast before, where miners are content creators that are evaluated by an AI and then getting paid in Tau based on their views by providing marketing services to Bittensor's more promising subnets. Bitcast recently added this concept of agencies, which allows YouTubers to become managed under one UID, basically making the process of becoming a miner a lot simpler by having somebody else do the setup for you. Now, what this means is that you can get involved and become a miner even if you're not very technically savvy. So it's lowering the barrier to entry for new miners. So in the longer term, Bitcast's vision is to have hundreds or thousands of creators on the subnet. But right now it's still a fairly small subnet. And so there's actually lots of opportunity because of that. The thing I want to talk about is the attack that my channel is under right now. It hasn't happened in the last week, but before that, I'm just showing you a graph here of the number of views that this video had. You can see that I get a few views the first day, and then usually it slowly descends. But then there's a huge spike, and then another huge spike of views on these 2 days. Sometimes maybe that would be organic, but looking further into it, I found that it certainly was not. Now, typically you wouldn't complain as a YouTuber that, hey, my videos are getting views, but Bitcast only rewards miners that have organic views. So my concern here is that one of the other miners saw that I was doing well on the subnet, and they said, oh, I'm going to pay for a bunch of fake views on Travis's videos and then try to get his account blacklisted. So this was concerning for me because I'm like, hey, I don't want to just like get taken down from the subnet because like I'm trying to do everything legitimately here. I'm not a nefarious miner that's trying to game the subnet. Like if Bitcast disappears tomorrow, I'm still looking at building out the channel. So I contacted the subnet owner, and so I wasn't blacklisted for that. Speaking about the blacklist, they're changing the requirements a little bit for YouTubers on Bitcast, basically changing the incentives a little bit so that miners attacking each other is pointless, and they're removing the blacklist maybe shortly after that change, which is good because it should be a fair environment for anybody to get involved. One of the cool things about like being involved with this subnet is the emissions distribution is based on the total amount of view hours that all the miners put together. So if all the miners obtain like more view minutes for a particular brief than normal, then a little bit more emissions will go to the miners. They burn emissions for videos that don't reach their requirements. I can actually show you that here. So if I go and look at one of the active briefs right now, so maybe this subnet summer one here, and then there's this burn decay curve. So right now in total, if everybody stopped watching Bitcast YouTubers content, we would only get around 65% of the total emissions that could go to miners. The rest would be burned. So the incentives there are kind of interesting because for me as a miner, I don't get too penalized if somebody's doing better than me because they're just unlocking more emissions on this curve for themselves. I get maybe a little bit less, but it's not like fixed pie, if that makes sense. In the last video, I talked about how mining is soon becoming something where miners are businesses in Bittensor. So it's not just me now. I have an editor and I've already seen it pay off. So I'm investing the miner emissions back into the channel to grow the channel. My editor is one of a couple initiatives that I have going. I'm not going to talk about those particular initiatives because I don't want other miners to copy me until they're already in effect. Like that's an interesting part of Bittensor, right? Is like miners come up with ideas and they try those ideas out, see if they can improve their emissions that way. And then of course you should be aware of this. If you're an aspiring miner or an existing miner, you're really in competition with other miners. So if you're say mining on Bitcast and you're getting a little bit of emissions, but you're not really like innovating and making your channel better, I'm coming for your emissions. So you got to constantly be improving, and that's applicable to any subnet. Like I said in my miner course, like there's no sitting down and, you know, waiting for emissions and doing nothing. Like you have to work for emissions. So yeah, I'm constantly looking for ways to improve the quality of my videos and to become the top miner again. And then in the last video, I talked about how the brief checker, that wasn't working well. I couldn't trust it, but now the brief checker is much better. It runs the check a few times and it runs it quicker. Yeah, it's much easier now. So I spend a lot less of my time making sure that my content meets the briefs. I still write my script out and prepare the video the same as always, but now I just plug everything into the script checker and it takes me 5 minutes to check and just make sure that I'm going to get paid for the video. Probably in the next vlog, I'll talk about one of my secret upcoming initiatives that should hopefully make me do a little bit better. So stay tuned.